Hello. So, I haven't got my new deck yet. I was sort of hoping I would have my new deck before I did this, but, you know, I've just got this nagging feeling that I really need to, I really need to get the Astro Clock predictions out, because so much has already happened that, like, you can see it. You can see in the first, so it's the 4th month of the year now, isn't it? So you can already see a lot has happened that I've predicted in this reading. So I want to get it out there now, so that if any more happens, it can act like it's meant to, a prediction. So yeah, we're going to go through the Astro Clocks today. I'm going to start with, I'm going to take you through Mew's Astro Clock up to May. So we're going to go January, February, March, April for Mew. Then we're going to go to Gulf and go January, February, March, April, and then from May onwards we're going to look at it more combined, because like I've said a few times, they do seem to be combined from May onwards for some reason this year. So now, yeah, as I said, I haven't got the new deck or my magnetic system yet, but we're gonna persevere. I've just got this little thing set up here. It's a big long magnet. I just covered it with paper because otherwise it will be too distracting for you. And we're just gonna sort of slip the cards behind there to hold them up, because I only need 3 cards. This reading only requires 3 cards at a time. So hopefully we can do it this way. Alright, before I go on as well, about the other readings, I am in the process of getting the videos up on YouTube with the writing. In fact, right now I am rendering the one that was done on the 8th. It's rendering right now. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut, guys. I can't, you know, I tried to do like the automatic captions on YouTube or something. They did a terrible job at figuring out what I was trying to say. And yeah, it just takes a long time. It's taken me this long to even get this far. But hopefully once this is rendered, I'll be able to do the next video on the 9th, and then hopefully soon enough you will have both videos, access to both videos on my YouTube channel to go and watch if you wish. Okay, let's get started then. I'll flip the camera so that everything is in the right order. So sit that up there like that. That should be, maybe I'll put this down a little bit. It's a bit, maybe about there. How's that? Yeah, okay. So, Mew Suppasit Astro Clock. Now I did this draw on, I did the Astro Clock spread on the 22nd of March, so people know that. Okay, so January was, let me find the cards. Okay, can you see that, guys? Fish, tree, fox. Oh, you can't really see the fox. He's on the bottom of that card. It's a pain.
That's a card.
Yes, it is a card. Okay. Alright, so fish, tree, fox. Fish is money, abundance, independence, or emotions flowing. It can also be. Tree is health, growth, long-term stability, family. Fox, of course, I've said it many times, it's like it can be work, but because I have a card that represents work in this deck anyway, it's more deception, strategy, someone being clever or sneaky. So if we mix fish and tree together, fish and tree, the combination fish and tree is increase in wealth, family business, financial stability. Tree and fox is relatives' job, enduring, being the black sheep of the family, healing after theft, or extending a lie. You hear that? Extending a lie. That's a very, like, as soon as I heard that, I was very, like that. I thought, yeah, that sounds like it. Anyway, fish and fox. Fish and fox caution about finances, selfishness, and greed regarding money. So this was for January. So basically January is focused on money and work, and with the combinations there sort of is a theme surrounding money matters, like being cautious about money because of possible greed, and also like healing after theft or extending a lie. So financial stability in the family business continues to benefit on the outside while someone is being had or tricked, and lies are being deepened on the inside. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? So that's what I got for January. Now, as I said, I did this reading in March, so I already knew what happened in January, which is why that one is like so spot on as well, I think. I'm not sure if I would have got the same idea if I'd done it before January, but still, you know, the fact that the cards fit, I think is pretty special. Anyway, moving on, so that was January. And I think you can agree, like, January this year was all about getting the money, and, you know, Mew and Tool were all about their new skin lab, and of course Mew was doing his birthday fan meet, and they were all about getting the money in for that. They were all about getting the business side of that sorted. Yeah, so very accurate, I think. Now, February was Man, which obviously is Mew, because it's his Astro Clock. Stork. Wait a minute. Yes, Stork. So Stork goes next, and Anchor. I have the wrong card. Sorry, guys. So that's Anchor, and there's Stork. Man, Stork, Anchor. So, Man is Mew, like I said. Stork can be change, transition, moving forward. Anchor is stability, long-term security. Where was I? So, Man and Stork. A man going through changes, good or bad. Stork and Anchor focus on change and transformation, final move, change the standards, hope to relocate or return the stability. And Man and Anchor, a man that is sold, focused, or restrained, stuck. It can be either way. So, what I have written in February, Mew was going through a transition of possibly more frequent work with Tool to stabilize their relationship. The whole month was focused on selling their relationship for Valentine's enthusiasts and consumers, no doubt. But possibly all this extra demand for fan service or moments did the opposite and made him feel more restrained and stuck, limited. That's how I read it. Now, if you think back to February, I mean, what was it? February was the month of Mew and Tool, basically. It was all about them. Every single day there was something, and it was Valentine's themed, pretty much. Even his own birthday fan meet was all about not just Tool, but also their business. You know, where was the real personal side for Mew? There really wasn't any there, and yeah, you know, we all know what happened. His fan meet wasn't as successful as his past fan meets have been because of that focus shift. But you know, like I said, this was done in March, so I already knew what February was going to look like, because I already had seen it. And March. Now, March. since I did it in 2020, since I did the reading on March 22, there was still a lot of the month left. In fact, the most important thing that hadn't happened yet was the earthquake. I don't think it really came into Mew's reading though, but you'll see when I get to Gulf's reading, you'll see how it seemed to hint a little bit. Anyway, so moving on to March for Mew, we have Coffin, Bouquet and Garden. Coffin, which basically means endings, transformation, something closing. Bouquet, we have happiness, appreciation, small gifts, small happiness, beauty, and garden. Garden is like public space, social media circles, just public. In Mew and Gulf's case, or Mew and Tool's case, we'd say like the public. So they're social friend circles and the general public. So Coffin Bouquet. Coffin Bouquet can be related to ending one's social life, loss of gratitude, declining an invitation even, the end of beauty, or stop gifts coming, the end of gifts. And Bouquet Garden, as I said, public, so public gathering, because the garden is like a group, so public gathering, public reputation, keeping up appearances for social reasons. Now, what does that make you think of? Straight away I think of the cafe, but that's just me. And then Coffin Garden. Coffin Garden is like public mourning, leaving a public circle, old friends, or mass losses. So this is March. So in March, what I have written here is, in March, Mew truly tried to, or seemed to, bury his true nature underneath this facade or illusion of a relationship, which means there was a deceptive outward appearance, which is the Coffin Bouquet. And a beauty sort of thing, hidden beauty, and tried to keep up appearances for social reasons by opening up his new cafe with Tool like a couple. Bouquet Garden. So, public space, the cafe, did it as a couple, and for appearance's sake, they really focused on that cafe. They really focused the cafe around their relationship, around all the media was interviewing them about their relationship, not the cafe itself, and they really had a successful run with it because of having fans involved so much. But then, and this is the interesting part, then we have Coffin Garden. Coffin Garden, public mourning, leaving public circle, old friends, mass losses. So, for me, this was like, he was happy with it and received a lot of support for it from different people. Different people, old friends, including a garden of sunflowers from Waanjai. I think that definitely categorizes old friends well, He received so many sunflower bouquets from Waanjai, old friends. Or old social circle even, you could say. So that fits really well as well. If it wasn't about the cafe, I still think, in the month of March, they really did focus, like they were in magazines, and every time you had an interview, even on his own, he would always talk about them. So, yeah, I think keeping up public appearances was certainly a big theme during not just March, but also February, I think. But February is more about pulling in the money because it was Valentine's, so, you know. And then here we come to April. So this is the one I shared on my IG story. The one that really shocked me. Like, I couldn't believe that it had been so spot on. Probably because April, as I said, I did the reading on the 26th of March. So how could I have known what was going to happen in April? So we have key, ring, moon. So key, the ticket, the solution, ring, commitment, contract. You guys guessing? Or if you already saw my story, you know exactly what's coming. Moon. Here. So, key, revelation, unlocking something important, fate, like I said, solution, ticket to something huge, a big deal. Ring, commitment, contracts, relationships. Moon, emotions, fame, deep feelings, or even your reputation, which sort of is covered by fame anyway. So key, ring, a revelation about a commitment, or entering a contract, or making a promise. Ring, moon, I'm going to go through them all first. Ring, moon, emotional commitment, an intuitive connection, relying on reputation. Okay, and key, moon, unlocking the subconscious, new awareness of dreams, dreaming of the answer, or important opportunities. Now, here's what I said. In April, something very important will be happening regarding a commitment. Right? A commitment. It could be with Tool or maybe Gulf or something work-related, and it will affect his reputation. Right? And possibly have him feeling a certain way about his dreams and future. So, what happened, guys? What's already happened? I know we're only, the 14th. We're not that far into this month, but what's already happened? Mew has already announced that he has a new contract with H&M as the brand ambassador. So, big deal. Also, not just that, the announcement, but he went to LA. He went to a event in LA, which is a big deal as well. He was on Hollywood's doorstep, and we all know what his dreams used to be, you know, dreaming of being a Hollywood movie star, etc. He was on Hollywood's doorstep, so can't really be any more hopeful than that. Once you're there, it's like even the pictures I saw of him, he was so happy at that event. He had his moon-shaped eyes returned. He looked hopeful. He was hopeful again. There was hope in his eyes again that he could possibly still achieve some of those dreams that perhaps he had maybe given up secretly for this life he thinks he had to settle for. So, yep, amazing. April. That's what's happened for Mew up to April. Now we'll move on to Gulf. Before we go to the combined May, we'll go to Gulf. So let's move these. Okay, so starting with January for Gulf. Now with Gulf, it's a little bit harder to explain things simply because he is such a closed book, you know. He's so reserved. He doesn't give away much. So there's a lot of guessing involved with Gulf in the way of what these cards could mean. And you know, I try to look at other readings I have and compare with like what I've seen in the past as well for a bit of a better understanding sometimes, but it doesn't always work. So yeah, hang on, where are we? So we have for January in Gulf's Astro Clock, we have Whip, oops, tree, house. Whip, tree, house. Whip, tree, house. So whip can usually mean like conflict, arguments. It can also mean repetitive cycles. Tree, health, growth, long-term stability, family. House, home, stability, personal life, basically, is the best way to describe it. So whip and tree. Whip and tree can be physical abuse, pain, arguments in the family, healing a dispute. Tree house can mean home repairs or extensions, stability and health, family, home, board of surroundings. And whip house can mean conflict, shame and or guilt inside family, safety threatened, painful surroundings, rough countries. So I know it sounds pretty dire, but you know, as I said, it's a bit hard to put it all into a nice neat package with Gulf, because we don't know much. But what we do know can help cross out some of the things, some of the possibilities I just read out. So of course with house and tree, like I just mentioned, home repairs or extensions, we know that he is in the middle of getting his house ready, his new home. He's got construction going at the moment for his new house. Apparently been going for years, 4 years or something now, has it? But he's still obviously doing something towards that. So what I have written, what I came up with was, it sounds like the focus was on house renovations or his new house plans in January, which maybe there was some family dispute over, like maybe the family disagreed about something regarding the house, which may have caused some conflict in the family. And when I say family, it doesn't necessarily mean, Maynooch, Papa Alex, or even Grace for that matter. It could be extended family, it could be other members of the family, so who knows. But that's what I got for January for Gulf. Moving on to February. I think it's safe to say it was all about the house. Maybe they even had to stall construction on the house because of his new jobs, something like that. Maybe, you know, he had to stop all the plans, put them on hold for while he's pursuing this part of his career, like working in Japan, etc. Maybe something like that. And maybe someone in the family was not liking it, or thought it's been long enough, being all these years, and that they should just get it over and done with, or something like that. Who knows? Anyway, February. So February is Child Ring Mountain. It was February. So while Mew was off being busy in a business contract with Tull for Valentine's, Gulf had Child, New Beginnings, Innocence, Something Small with a Big Impact, Ring, Commitment, Contracts, Relationships, Mountain, Obstacles, Delays, Challenges. So Child and Ring together, the combination of Child and Ring, a new commitment, sincere promises, the start of a commitment. Then we have Ring and Mountain, an obstacle to a commitment or a difficult, challenging commitment, or stalling a commitment, stopping a commitment, being overwhelmed by a commitment, or even feeling overwhelmed by a promise you made. And Child Mountain, inexperience and innocence causes obstacles. So being childlike gives you a mountain to climb, sort of. Or new obstacles start forming. So new obstacles come into existence, like a child is born. What I've said for this, okay, so I've said this sounds like Gulf entered a new contract. that he knew was going to be challenging, and he could already see obstacles he would have to face due to his inexperience. He may have felt a little overwhelmed at the time, but focused and committed on conquering this challenge or fulfilling this contract or promise that he made. Now this makes me think straight away of his new contract with Japan for the what's it called? Tokyo holiday. Because, I mean, just think about it. Mountain, you're going to be living overseas. You're going to be living out of your comfort zone while you're doing the filming. You're committing to this job because it's going to take time, effort. It's also going to take a bit of innocence because you're going to have to learn, is it 2 extra languages? He's speaking 3 languages, so he has to up his skills on English, and he has to learn Japanese. So yeah, straight away made me think of the Japan project, which he is still doing as we speak. Because it's challenging his knowledge of language, acting, and also working overseas out of his comfort zone, like I said. Also having to fly back and forth, could be the mountain, because of his other work commitments back in Thailand. So he's having to constantly fly back and forth because he has other commitments that he has to take care of. At times he may feel like, do I have to go back for this? Do I have to go back for this event? And then that's where like this difficult commitment or promise that he made. He promised another job that he was going to come back to do a job, something like that. So that also plays into it. This was in February, so this must have been February. Must have been when it all was being spoken about, when it was confirmed, or when it was finalized in paperwork that he was going to do this. Now, moving on to March for Gulf. So March, this is the one where I said you might see a hint of something that happened. So in March for Gulf, we have, oh, I haven't taken these down yet. Get them out the way. We have scythe, which means cut, sudden endings, sharp decisions, or sudden danger, it can also mean. We have dog. Wait. Now, dog doesn't have to mean dog. In a lot of cases, dog means loyalty, friendship, but in this case, it can also mean pet, let's say. And lily. Lily is like wisdom, maturity. Can sometimes refer to something sexual, but not in this case, I don't think. Okay, so scythe and dog. What we've said here, end of a friendship or loyalty, pets, accident or scare. Now, I think that's the one it is. Looking back, I think definitely the pet scare was what this is talking about. Dog Lily, friend with benefits situation, I don't think so. A pure and loyal friendship, that sounds more like it. Friends with good intentions, or help an elder, follow a mentor. Now, I think it's follow a mentor because during this month of March, as we all know, he also had the football event. So I'm pretty sure he would have been following, for example, P grade, his captain. He would have been following a mentor in that case. Or you might even say following an elder because he's older. Now, getting on with it. Since it's already March and the earthquake happened, I would say this could be referred to the scare he had with his 2 cats missing during the earthquake. So scythe and dog, it can be a pet scare, pet's accident or scare. And I think the cats going missing during the earthquake was definitely a big scare for Gulf. If you remember, he was very worried. I would also say since the football event, yeah, like I said, he was following a mentor, his old captain, also showing a pure and loyal friendship with Smith, maybe it's possible. Like, even though Smith was on the other team, you know, perhaps for the sake of, well, just for the sake of the channel even, or maybe upcoming work, because there's that, or maybe even, you know, to balance it out a bit between his friends, because I know that he was being shipped with Cal a lot during the first few months of this year. So it was like Smith kind of went out the window, and everybody was starting to hook him up with Cal again. So yeah, maybe he was just trying to balance it out a bit so he could be evenly distributed between his fellow workers, colleagues, maybe, I don't know, possibly. He certainly, when it came to the game though, he looked like he was closer with Smith again than he has been for a while. So, you know, again, that brings to the idea of what I said in the other live, about that maybe they had a conflict, had a fight or something, and they got over it. They, you know, made up with each other and returned to a little bit more of a peaceful state with their friendship, perhaps. And Scythe Lily can mean sudden ending for moral reasons, dangers of, yeah, it's not that, anyway, old wounds or older doctor. So, yeah, I think with talking still about Gulf and Smith, sudden ending for moral reasons, I think it might sort of have to do with that, because like he's still doing the job in Japan, for example. He's still doing his other work for the other series in Thailand, and he's also doing some secret job that he hasn't quite fully revealed yet. So if you think about what we were talking about in the other live to do with Gulf and Smith, he's possibly, you know, limiting their interactions because of the danger of spillage, of things being spilled, and also because of perhaps the danger of old wounds resurfacing. That's old wounds, Scythe Lily can mean old wounds, possibly referring to like being overly shipped with friends again. Like I said, maybe he was trying to balance it out he was being shipped a lot at the time with Cal, so maybe he started to sort of warm up to Smith again to try and, you know, balance that out, to put an end to that, to make it that they're all friends instead of people shipping them together. Okay, so that's Gulf March. Now, Gulf April. Okay, so for April we have Clover Book. Again, you can't really see him. There he is. Fox. Set these up a bit. There we go. So, Clover, opportunity, something small, a little bit of luck, something small but big at the same time. Book, we have secrets, hidden knowledge, things yet to be revealed. It can also be education, learning something. Fox, we'll go through it again. It can be work, or it can be deception, strategy, someone being clever or sneaky. Clover Book. Clover Book combination is like learning for fun, educated guess, or lucky find. Book Fox, suspicious information or knowledge, secret job, secret task, self-education, work on learning. I think there's a few things that could be there. And Clover Fox, suspicion about opportunity, distrust of luck, or success at work. So in Gulf's case, I think the fox definitely represents work in this time round. Luck seems to be on his side with his job that he has in Japan. I said, and he will be very successful for it, but we know that he is being very successful for it, as will his series or movie back in Thailand when that comes around. So Clover Fox, good luck with work. Gulf already spoke of having more projects that he is working on but cannot reveal yet. So secret job resonates. You know, I think secret job could also be part of it, but it could also be that he has to learn something new for this secret job. As he said, it was something huge, if you remember, and he was very excited about it, and he thinks that we're going to be very excited about it. So Clover and Book, it could also be that as well. Learning for fun, educated guess, lucky find. So that's for April. Now, the fun part, going from May onwards with both of them. Okay, so now I didn't think about this. How am I going to have both of them up at once? I'm not really going to be able to, am I? Unless I just don't know if that's going to be too distracting for you, that's all. But I could possibly put 3 there and 3 there. I could try that. Hang on, put it in there. Okay, so we'll try. So starting with May, so for Mew we have Snake Bear Whip for Mew, and for Gulf we have, actually I didn't have this deck when I did this reading, so don't expect to see the Instant Burner Spirit and Bed and Market card in this lot actually, because I didn't have them. So just the basic cards I had for this reading, just so you know that. Okay, Man, My Stars. Let's see how we go with this. So Man, this is probably gonna get tricky. Man, My Stars. Oh, sort of, kind of works. You don't get to see the top of the card, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so Snake Bear Whip for Mew. Deception, manipulation. Bear can be strength, authority, protection, sometimes control. Whip, conflict, arguments, repetitive cycles. Now this is May, remember. We haven't hit May yet. This is next month. For Gulf, we have Man, Mice, Stars. Man obviously is Gulf, or it could be another man actually. It could be another man, which actually I think it could be Mew, but we'll get on to that. Mice, stress, anxiety, something slowly being taken away. And Stars, hopes, dreams, destiny, guidance. So Snake and Bear up here for Mew. Snake and Bear, the combination of Snake and Bear can be like a manipulative leader or boss, a strong enemy or a forceful enemy, desiring power, or having a manipulative bossy person controlling you. It can also be like a nemesis who gains power, or it can be tempted to use force, so like to get physical or to power of abuse, basically. Bear Whip, like I said, power of abuse, abuse of power, same thing. Aggression dominates life, arguments with authoritative figures, being forceful and aggressive, exercising through pain. Then we have Snake Whip, creating pain by lies and manipulation. Sounds interesting. Arguments with enemies, punishing your enemies, being vilified for two-faced behavior, also sounds interesting. Being critical because of jealousy. So that's Mew. For Gulf, down here, we have Man Mice. This can mean a man that is sick, in poverty, or corrupt, stressed, stolen, spoiled, all sorts of things this can mean, but it's very negative. It's a man that is negative, a man that has negative energy. This is why I think it's possibly Mew, after this, you kind of can see how I think it connects, can't you? Like, you know, negative things going on in his life, and there he is. Mice and stars. Mice and stars can be worry about one's future, slow decline in hope, being troubled but optimistic at the same time, spoiling divine dreams, steal an inspiration, lesson clarity. Lesson clarity really stands out to me there, or did stand out to me there. And then, of course, man and stars, a hopeful man. Hopeful, trusting, spiritual, a man with many wishes, a famous man it can also mean, so it could be about them being famous, a lucky man, or a starring man, like starring in a show, starring man. Okay, so altogether, I'm going to try and summarize this. So, this is a summary of what I already wrote separately in their separate clocks, just so you know. So, here we go. So, Mew will again be prone to manipulation or being deceived by someone who is controlling him, right? Or who has power over him. There may be a lot of arguments and tension during this month. More lies will be created which cause him pain, and it could make someone more forceful and aggressive, possibly out of jealousy. It's possible that Mew will reach out to Gulf in this month, which in turn will lessen the clarity Gulf may have thought he had about their relationship, and possibly cause an onslaught of worry about what could happen in the future, troubled but optimistic, as it says above. So, mice and stars. And maybe even hopeful that they would finally be able to work together or be together again. So that's how I read that all together in a summary. I don't know. What do you guys think? If let's say it's not Mew then. Well, there's a lot of possibilities. This man could be Gulf himself. It could be someone else like Smith, if you think he's close enough. It could be anyone really, but because of what I saw of what's going on with Mew, it really does feel like it fits. It fits for all this to result in Mew reaching out to Gulf. Which then, this was for Gulf, so it's like a troubled man comes into his life suddenly, or comes back into his life suddenly, and that's sort of the picture there. Okay, so that was May. Now moving on to June. You know, don't be scared to comment underneath these videos what you think of the cards. I don't tolerate people telling me that I'm crazy or that I should be ashamed with what I'm doing or whatever, but I will tolerate people like questioning what the card can mean, saying, but doesn't this card sort of point more to this? That kind of thing I will welcome, because as I said, I am a learner. I am still learning, so I'm learning as I go. If you know a bit about reading cards, then absolutely I want to hear from you what your opinion is. If you don't know anything about cards, I still want to hear what you have to say, because really it's about interpretation, and anybody can really look at a card and you know, the card will speak to you. So if the card says something else to you, by all means let me know. Alright, now June. So for Mew in the month of June, we have stars, sun, crossroads. For Gulf, we have woman, not coming up, there we go, cross, and tower. Okay, so for Mew, stars, sun, crossroads. Stars is hopes, dreams, destiny, guidance. Sun can be success, happiness, clarity. It can also point towards spotlight or shining the light on something, revealing something. Crossroads. Crossroads can be choices, decisions, a path splitting in two. For Gulf, we have woman. Woman can be mother, can be another woman in his life, could be someone at work, for example. Or it could be Gulf himself as the divine feminine of Mew. There's also that. Because we all know that Gulf is very in touch with his feminine side as well. He can be masculine, he can be just as masculine when he wants to be, but his outer appearance really does have a more feminine side, and he's very calm, he's very motherly. The way he is with kids really gives it away. He's got that motherly instinct in him, and he's very gentle, very caring person, very feminine. Yeah. He's certainly far from, rustic, masculine. Then we have cross, which can be burdens, suffering, fate. It can be religion on a far stretch, but in most cases not really. So fate and destiny, it can also be. The cross you bear. If you think of the saying, the cross you bear, usually that's what it points to. Tower. Tower can be like authority. So in Gulf's case, this could be like his management, or even higher than his management. It could be somebody he's under contract with, or who has very strong influence in his life and his choice decisions right now. So it could be that, but it can also mean isolation in some cases. So like isolating yourself in a tower, a bit like Rapunzel, sort of. Okay, so stars and sun. Stars and sun, desiring happiness and success, dreaming about happiness and success, or having it come to fruition, can also be, or great fame. So there's a few options there. Sun and crossroads. This is an interesting one. Sun and crossroads can be happy freedom, happy decision, obvious choice. It can be holiday choices. So it can be, maybe they go on holiday again, maybe. Successful choices. It can also be this is interesting, finding happiness with an alternative person, or happiness with an alternative path to what obviously he's on currently. So that's interesting. And then stars and crossroads, positive choices, deciding to dream, planning to choose well, choices based on dreams. He's been dreaming about Gulf according to our last life. and following hopes. Okay. And then for Gulf, so woman cross, the combination of woman cross, someone who is burdened or indecisive, usually like a woman who is burdened or indecisive, so this could be Gulf himself, or it could be a woman in his life. Someone's destiny, again it could be Gulf's destiny. Most likely in that light it would be Gulf. Or a spiritual or challenging person. In that light it could be other people apart from Gulf himself. Usually when destiny is involved it will mean Gulf or his significant other, and I don't think there is a significant other in this case. Because for one thing, Mew wouldn't come up as a woman for significant other, he would come up as man. Anyway, cross tower. Cross tower can be, like I said, loneliness. So loneliness creates suffering. The burden of authority, burdened by authority or control. It can also be big institutions like church, hospital, being hurt because someone has made themselves unreachable, as in they've gone into isolation, controlling your pain, or fate is stalled by people, so somebody has stalled your fate, possibly with to do with the Tower. So fate is stalled by people who have control, or because of religion even. And woman Tower can mean female boss, a woman's organization, someone who is ambitious. So again, a few options. So what I have written here, it looks like Mew will spend this month wishing and hoping for a better, happier future. He will gain clarity, which will help him decide what's best for his future, and he will most likely choose to dream, follow his hopes, and possibly be happy with an alternative path to what he is now on. If the woman is someone like Gulf's boss, down here, this could be her getting in the way of his fate and destiny by means of work, which makes Gulf feel lonely, burdened, and like he has to control his pain. Keep smiling, like the always smiling prince, and acting like everything's fine when it's not. So that's one possibility. Or if the woman is Gulf, then Mew reaching out to him the month prior, if he did, could give him the ambition, so someone very ambitious. So it could give him the ambition and the motivation to stop suffering in silence and stand up and be the boss in his own life again. It's up to him to follow his heart, his dreams, and he shouldn't let work or anyone stop him, for that matter. He may start thinking about how to take a stand against who or what is controlling him and his life. So there's a few options there. In general, in just one sentence, it certainly looks like both Mew and Gulf will be wishing, hoping, and manifesting for a better future in this month, and possibly will start doing something to work towards that improvement. So if you consider that the month before that Mew may have reached out to Gulf, then it's after they've talked, and they could be trying to turn the wheels on their fortune, perhaps. Then, next month, so July, going into July, I think we've covered that enough. Take these down and go into July. So, for Mew we have child, ship, birds. Gulf we have fish, cloud, sun. Child, new beginnings, innocence, something small with a big impact. Ship, travel, distance, longing. Birds, communication, can be nervous energy as well, or gossip. Fish, money, abundance, independence, emotions flowing. Clouds, confusion, uncertainty, lack of clarity. Sun, success, happiness, clarity. So up here for Mew, child and ship. Child and ship can mean like new opportunity of small travels, being naive over the direction you're heading, or short trip. For that one. Ship and birds, nervous excitement about travel, worry about travel, online friends from overseas, gossiping about people you do not really know, expressing your desire to move on. So there's a few. And child, bird, beginning of communication. Yeah, don't get too excited about what I'm about to say, guys. Child birds can be something which starts on social media, innocent conversations on social media, nervousness about inexperienced, chatty children. Then we come down to Gulf, fish, clouds. Confusion about money or confusion about what one values. I don't think these ones, no. Gulf's not much of a drinker, so I don't think so. Swimming in complications could be those. Swimming in complications. Drowning in negativity. I don't think that either, but say it anyway. Clouds and sun. Confusion about what makes you happy. Failure to see joy in life. Bad weather. Avoiding achievements. Hiding your accomplishments. And fish and sun can be wealth of happiness, finding happiness in financial things, financial success, business success, drinking to celebrate success, or investing in your own future. Now, what I got from this, here's what I wrote. In this month, Mew may travel again, but maybe not with his travel buddy. Maybe they will take the newborn baby on a family trip for the first time, so baby Nini. Or maybe he will travel with another friend, or maybe he will have a new overseas project. By the combinations focus on being nervous or excited about a trip or journey, physical or metaphorical, something starts on social media, and it sounds like a lot of children are talking. It makes me think of MewGulf. It makes me think of not just MewGulf but Waanjai, since we are called MewGulf's children, and something will happen that could make us very excited and chatty. Who knows what? But maybe this was just an idea. Maybe Mew will take Gulf on a trip, on a short trip overseas, or even just on a trip. Or maybe Mew will start talking will start talking to Gulf again on social media, and they will have a new project and thus start a new journey together again. You can imagine how excited the chatty birds will be, right? If that happens. Remember, don't get too excited. This is only how I interpreted the cards, and I could be wrong, or things could change. But you know, it's a nice thought anyway. Then it looks like Gulf will be going through a lot of confusion this month about what he truly values in life, according to the fish and clouds. It could be his questioning, is it money and fame? Is that what he truly values? Or can he truly find happiness in other things in life? Could he be happy without those things in his life, more so? If that's what it takes to be happy, could he be happy without them? And comparing with Mew's summary, let's say Mew does decide to take him on a short trip, or does another job with him. Maybe Gulf is confused. Maybe Gulf gets confused about where he stands with Mew as a result. Maybe he starts questioning, is this a trip or a job? Or is it about the money only, or is it because Mew truly wants to work or be with him again, for example? Is it just another way for Mew to make money, or is it because he genuinely wants Gulf back in his life? Something like this. And still Gulf will no doubt enjoy whatever it is, especially if it involves investing in his own future. So that's what I got for July. Now, July is still 3 months away, guys, so you know what I'm saying. Things can change. This reading was done on the 22nd of March, but if things come to fruition that I'm saying, then wow, you know, it's just going to be even more like April did. Okay, so moving on to August. Wouldn't it be great though, like, even if let's say Mew and Tool are going to stay together as a couple, but Mew decides to bring Gulf back into his life. He decides to start talking to Gulf again, like I just said possibly could happen in that month. And maybe it starts with going on a trip. He takes Gulf on a trip. Maybe he even goes with him on a trip with Tool as well. Maybe all three of them go on a trip. Or maybe it's something lesser, like he just starts talking to Gulf again on social media, which helps them to sort of begin a journey again of being MewGulf, but not necessarily, towards being partners, but it could just be platonic. It could just be progress towards working together again, or it could just be progress towards being friends again. Perhaps Mew will see the light. What we said in June, he decided to hope and take an alternative path. Maybe that alternative path, instead of something as drastic as changing who he's going to marry or something, could just be that he's going to change how he's treating Gulf and Waanjai in his life. Maybe he's going to, change that and decide that it's worth having these people back in his life. Perhaps something like that. Like he could gain more from having Gulf and Waanjai in his life than he is gaining sort of blocking and banishing them out. Whether he's doing that of his own accord or because somebody is asking him to an extent. Okay, anyway, back to this. So August. So, Mountain, obstacles, delays, challenges. Scythe, sudden endings, sharp decisions, sudden danger. Tower, authority, isolation. Crossroads, choices, decisions, a path splitting in two. Rider, news, messages, something arriving quickly. And ship, travel, distance, longing. So, for Mew, Mountain and Scythe. Obstacles ending, or blockage then sudden movement, risking something for the long term, a warning that this situation or relationship has a limited future. Interesting. Then Scythe Tower can be cutting out your involvement with an association, could be risking your position in an association, could be ending your isolation, could be a rational ending, or a painful loneliness. Mountain Tower. Loneliness is a challenge, challenging authority, blocking a law, feeling alienated and alone. Then for Gulf we have Crossroads Rider. Crossroads and Rider can be scrambled messages, or unclear messages, being given choices, deciding to visit someone, planning to act, or decision based on news. Ridership can be like messages from far away, distant news, message from overseas. Crossroads ship can be exploration of choices, trying different directions, choices over travel, alternative travel plans, drifting in the right direction, swaying in a different direction. All very interesting cards for this month, for August that is. So, what I have written, something will come to a sudden end, or Mew will make the decision to cut something or someone out of his life, but he may not be able to do it right away due to work commitments, authority, or going into isolation. The combinations make it sound like a very hard, lonely month for Mew. Doesn't sound easy at all, like he has a lot of hard decisions to make. He could be putting his job on the line. It could be many things, which but this blockage and then sudden movement, this could be positive. This could be the positive side of it, possibly, especially if it involves Gulf. Then down to Gulf, still confused and uncertain. Gulf will try to come up with a decision, make a decision during this month. So perhaps he's getting unclear or scrambled messages or signals from possibly Mew if he gets back with him, gets back in touch with him, etc. But he will be considering all options, all alternatives. Sorry, no, that's this one. All alternatives and all different approaches towards the best decision, with the small possibility this decision is about travel. So like back to the idea that maybe Mew takes Gulf on a small trip or invites him on a small trip, or even that they start a new life journey together by talking again in public, something like that. So maybe he's looking at his life as a journey. With Mew, possibly with Mew possibly isolating from this, with Mew possibly isolating and trying to cut someone or something out of his life, which I don't think it's Gulf, maybe Gulf asked Mew to give him some time or space to decide about this trip or this journey, job or even lifestyle change that he reached out to him about, and Gulf is waiting for news or a message from someone overseas or out of his reach about something, maybe work related. So maybe whatever it is that Mew has talked to Gulf about, if that's what's happening, maybe he needs to wait for confirmation or some sort of news from... It makes me think of like the big companies he's involved with when it says overseas. It could even be, since he's working in Japan now, it could be Japan. Maybe he needs to get some information or some confirmation of his contract with the people in Japan, or Gucci, because Gucci is like worldwide. So you know, it could be something like that. That's just a thought, not a fact. Just trying to put everything together here. So yeah, could be work related, or it could even be like a distant family relative or something. Maybe someone in Gulf's family doesn't live in Thailand, but they have a strong influence in what happens in the family, even something like that, and he's waiting for some sort of news or message. Or since it's overseas, maybe Mew goes overseas again, and Gulf is waiting for something from Mew while he's overseas, something like that. It could be many things. We'll wait and see what happens, and then when it does happen, I can probably come back to this and sort of clean up my prediction and say, so now we know that this is what happened, just like I did with April, January, February, March as well. Anyway, moving on. So September now. Okay, so September, the month of September for Mew. We have Lily, Clover, Book, and for Gulf we have Coffin, Snake, Bear. Okay, so for Mew we have Lily, wisdom, maturity, sometimes sexuality or sensual stuff, but probably not. Clover, we have opportunity, something small but big at the same time, a small bit of luck. Book is of course secrets, hidden knowledge, things yet to be revealed, or learning something. Gulf, Coffin is endings, transformations, something closing, something ending. Snake is deception, manipulation. Depending on what cards are around it, sometimes it can have a positive meaning too, but not in this case. Bear, strength, authority, protection, sometimes control. So back up to Mew first, we have Lily and Clover. This can mean contentment in simplicity, risk-free gambles, relaxing, sensual enjoyment. So this could just be simply relaxing. Clover and Book, learning for fun, educated guess, lucky find, the same as what Gulf had in April. And Lily Book. Lily Book can be teaching someone how to relax, learning from a mentor, education later in life, passion for and pleasure from education, or pure facts. Down here we have Coffin and Snake, which can be giving up on your desires. So like the end of ambition, sort of, because if you put the snake in a positive light, ambition, it can mean So yes, putting an end to your desires, declining the chance to be unfaithful. So that's the negative side of it as well. You can put an end to deception, an end to being unfaithful, an end to cheating, an end to being a snake, basically. Snake and bear. Snake and bear, a manipulative leader or boss, a strong enemy or a forceful enemy, desiring power or having manipulative people controlling you, a nemesis who gains power, tempted to use force. So if you remember, Mew had this in May, his month of May, he had this combination as well. And then coffin and bear, loss of a leader, loss of power or strength, overpowering grief, critical parents, or end of lifestyle. So some interesting cards we have again. So moving for Mew, this is what I've written, the prediction, so all of it together. I've said, if Mew had been making strong decisions and possibly been in isolation the previous month, this month was going to be about him coming out of that state with newfound wisdom and possibly some luck and possibly opportunity on his side. Maybe even some hidden information that is yet revealed. With what it said about the Lily book, how it said about teaching someone how to relax, learning from a mentor, education later in life, passion for and pleasure from education and pure facts, my mind kind of went a little bit on the wild side here. I started thinking like the thought of someone being less experienced in the bedroom, let's say, and teaching them how to relax and enjoy certain things based on these combinations. And of course this is private information, so it wouldn't be shared in general. So that it sort of just came to my mind that it's a possibility that despite what we saw with them in say TharnType, it's possible that they are not as familiar with those things as they seem. Obviously, Mew would have more life experience with it all. But yeah, I guess I really did. I sort of pictured that maybe after they get back together, if they do, if Mew does reach out to Gulf and it isn't a platonic matter, if it really is them twin flames getting back together somehow, if he gets back together with Gulf and something sparks interest and all that, and lets go of the other and all sorts of things, then possibly something like that. But of course that's just me and my, I suppose you could say, imagination. Because for all we know, Gulf may be very well, aligned with how things happen anyway. He may be more experienced than we give him credit for. So to Gulf, if in this month Gulf looks like he suffers a loss. It looks like he suffers a loss of some kind, or maybe he gets caught up with bad company, or falls into temptation. Falls into temptation could play into what I was just talking about, but bad company could be something entirely different. The result being he could have a disagreement with his parents or management, snake and bear, or possibly decide to make a big change, like leave the entertainment or modeling industry, for example, as a result of declining someone or something in his workplace that would go against his morals or promise he made to someone possibly very recently after an enjoyable time together. So I kind of went into that story again, like it could be something like maybe someone does want Gulf to do something, on the sensual side, and he refuses, and as a result of refusing that and sticking to his morals, he could lose an opportunity. Something like that, possibly. Or it could be something entirely different, guys. You know, this is just me trying to put 2 and 2 together with the little information I have. Okay, so I think we've talked about that month enough. Let's go on to October. Okay, so for October, we have Mew. Mew has cross, woman, clouds, and for Gulf we have letter, garden, heart. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the meanings because I think I've repeated a few of these enough anyway for you guys. Anyway, so let's go for combinations. Combination of cross and woman can be a burdened woman or a tolerant woman or a faithful woman or person. Doesn't have to be woman. Woman clouds can be confusion about someone, someone uncertain, or someone hiding something or being negative. And then cross clouds can be uncertainty, causes suffering, uncertain sacrifices, suffering from mental health issues, stress affecting your mood, suffering because of difficult people. For Gulf, down here we have letter garden, which can be like a public communication or a public announcement, party invites, communicating with groups, connecting with lots of people, keeping in contact with lots of people, being sent to a network event, or a networking event, I should say. And garden heart can be a loving social network, compassionate community, meeting a lover at a party, gathering with people you love, or an open relationship it can even mean. And then letter heart, love letter, compassionate communication, a marriage certificate, planning a future together, someone informing you of their loving intentions, or communicating from the heart. So what I have written, this month looks like it may not be that pleasant for Mew, unless the cross simply represents fate in this case, fate and destiny. Then it would be Mew realizing his true fate is with Gulf, so the woman could be Gulf, again, divine feminine. But he could also be feeling confused and uncertain about how things will work out, about how it will be. If the cross represents burden or suffering, then this month would be either spent longing for Gulf to be with him, or to leave his mind and sort of like stop torturing him if that's what's the case, if he can't get him off of his mind, but he has to for whatever reason, something like that. Either way, he will be sad this month, and it could be a very stressful, challenging time for him. So that's the month of October. Interesting, because October is the month of Tul's birthday, isn't it? Interesting, okay. Maybe even, you know, if he is his significant other, maybe Tul is the one who is burdening him, and he feels confused about if they haven't quite completely sorted things out between them or something even. And then down to Gulf. So for Gulf, this sounds a lot like either an announcement about his work, such as possibly leaving the industry or making some sort of big change about his work, or some other important news, or possibly even a wedding or party invitation to a huge event. What's even more interesting is you'll notice when I get to December, Mew got these same heart letter combinations in his reading in December, 3 months later. So if it's something like a wedding invitation, could even hint at that. If there's going to be a wedding and if it's going to be the one everybody thinks it is. If the cross means fate, maybe MewGulf will announce their relationship on social media, whether it's work or lovers. So when I say announce their relationship, it could be that they're going to work together again, or it could be that they're still very good friends, platonic, or it could be twin flames and, you know, they really have found happiness with each other, something like that. And then possibly send out invitations. So this for the upcoming, invitations for the upcoming event or even weddings. So, yeah, doesn't matter what kind of relationship they have. If they're going to get together again in some form, it'll be a big deal. I don't have to tell you guys that, do I? It will be a big deal, whether it's for an event, whether they're going to be attending the same public event, or if it's something even as crazy as Gulf attending Mew's wedding or something like that. Then definitely there will be invitations and public notice involved. So yeah, maybe that's why his possible invitations are in December, because if we do think along that way, if Mew is going to marry Tool, whether he wants to or not, we don't know, whatever. If there's a wedding and he gets invited, if Gulf gets invited, maybe Mew could be waiting for a response, or to see if Gulf will attend his wedding, for example. That will make more sense when we get to December. Okay, and November. Moving on to November. So for Mew up here, mice and house. Mice and house can be unhealthy family dynamics, decaying tradition, reduction in comfort, or spoiled foundations of a home. House and dog can be devotion to family and tradition, a friend of the family, supportive inner circle, friend's house, faithful family members, because the dog represents loyalty. Mice and dog can mean decaying loyalty, decaying friendship, a false friend, stressed friend, because mice can be stressed, or even because of the thievery side of mice, steal from friends. Down here for Gulf we have Moon Key, which can be like unlocking subconscious, new awareness of dreams, dreaming of the answer, important opportunities. So Mew had this for April, if you remember, this combination. Key birds, worried about opening up, anxiety about a revelation. A revelation, see what I mean, guys? Could be something. Important message on social media. And then moonbirds can be emotional instability, worries, or facing the gossip. So what I have written for the month of November, this month could be Mew getting anxious, nice, about his family and friendship with Tool, maybe being thrown into jeopardy over his sudden change of heart, or ongoing trauma regarding Gulf. His family and his inner circle will support him, but some friendships, possibly mutual friends of him and Tool, may suffer or be stressed or decay, or maybe even turn out to be false friends, and not really Mew's friend after all. For Gulf, it sounds like this month will be all about Gulf preparing himself to open up, so the key, emotion, open up, It'll be all about Gulf preparing himself to open up on social media, which is birds, to face the gossip. So, moon and birds. To face the gossip of whatever is going on at the time. And rumours to speak up about a revelation of some kind. So whatever is happening that gets revealed, that causes quite a ruckus, it seems. Gulf will be preparing himself to open up about it. Now, if you think about the possibility that Mew is going to marry Tool in December, then this is November, so he could even be preparing himself for that. He could be preparing himself for a change of how he approaches things in regards to, for example, Waanjai. He could be preparing himself to attend the wedding if he's going to, or thinking about it. Or if it's not about the wedding, if it's more about being with Mew, then he could be preparing himself for the onslaught of criticism of people probably accusing him of being a home wrecker or something, which, you know, we will definitely defend him tooth and nail for, because, I mean, come on, he came first. But anyway, that's another matter. But it could be any of those things. So interesting outlook for November as well. As for Mew losing friends, if he is marrying Mew, if he is going to marry Tool in the end after all, then this losing friends or decaying friendship or whatever could even just be more fans than already have deciding to pick up their bags and leave for good. It could be something like that as well. Okay, now for the month of December, which is our last month. Okay, so for Mew we have, here's where the heart letter comes in that I was talking about earlier. So we have Rider, letter, heart, and we have anchor, stalk, bouquet. Up here, write a letter, written news, something that comes in the mail, planning a visit, receiving a visit, letter on the way, things like that. And letter and heart can be a love letter, compassionate communication, marriage certificate, planning a future together, informing someone of your loving intentions, communicating from the heart, or maybe a wedding invitation even coming in the mail, like. And rider and heart, new love, a message of love, news from a loved one, progress in a relationship, messages which are highly emotional. Anchor and stalk, focus on change and transformation, inability to change, it can also be. Doing the same thing but expecting different results, which is also an interesting one, I thought. And stalk bouquet, transformation in social life, receiving admiration for change, transfer traditional values, makeover, altering one's self-image. And then anchor bouquet, stability amongst friends, comfort in social circle, sustaining your values. So what I have written for this one, Mew. Mew is possibly waiting for a message and possibly legal paperwork that will allow Mew to follow his heart. Or there could be an actual wedding or talk of a wedding, or progress in a relationship and talk of plans for the future. So without saying a particular person, all that could be true either way. In this month, Gulf will be focused on change, What kind of change, that isn't clear yet, because obviously we don't know. But it could be something big, like change of lifestyle, or something small, like change of hair color. He will receive admiration and support from his inner circle, which will make him feel like he made the right choice either way. If Gulf's change is something as life-changing as marriage, let's say, he would receive blessings and support from his inner circle. If Gulf's change is adapting to Mew getting married, then it could be he is admired for still attending the wedding possibly, and his inner circle would support him to move on. So there's two ways it can go there. Somehow I don't see Gulf changing his hair color or anything like that, so I think it's more likely to be a big change rather than a small one. If Mew gets married to Tul, for instance, Gulf may feel he has to change how he interacts with Waanjai. So like I said, he may have to be more careful about being linked with Mew in the future. Then that's like a whole lifestyle change in itself, because think about how often they connect with us almost on a daily basis. And how Gulf has never really shown any discontent or problems with us continuing to appreciate him and Mew. So if Mew did marry Tul in the end, perhaps not only Gulf would have to make the change, but Waanjai would also have to adapt to the situation and, learn to respect the newlyweds. Excuse me. Or if it happens to be something else, like if Gulf is the one who marries Mew, for example, maybe not that month, but in the future, then that's like a whole lifestyle change, but a very happy one. Gulf would have to get used to being known to have a boyfriend. He would have to get used to being with Mew again. And like his whole life would change, basically. That's it. His whole life would change. And he would get the support and admiration from his inner circle all the same as well. So he would feel like he made the right decision either way, whether he marries Mew or not, whether he has to accept that Mew is going to marry Tul or not. Either way, Gulf is going to be admired and supported for whatever decisions he makes. Gulf really is the favoured one. Anyway, okay, so that is my prediction for this year. Finished. So how is that, guys? It was a bit of a lot to get through, but yeah, every month has a story, and yeah, just when I read them individually, because I did, they really seemed to fit together the way I said. So there you have it. And really, the one that happened in April with Mew getting the BA for H&M, I just couldn't believe how spot on that prediction had been. And then when I went back and looked and saw that the one in March, how Scythe and Dog could also link to a pet scare, I was like, my goodness. I forgot to mention, not just Gulf had a pet scare either, did he? Mew had a pet scare too, with Chopper. So that was, yeah, another thing. And yeah, just some of these readings are just amazing, the results. Okay, so that is the Astro Clocks that I've been talking so much about. What time is it? Do you guys want me to do a live reading today of I suppose we'll keep it to MewGulf, because it was MewGulf today. I can do a quick reading of MewGulf now if you like. Have you guys been... I haven't been reading any of your comments because I've been doing the other thing. Sorry, guys. Morning, Cat. I caught alive. You caught the live, Elizabeth. Well done. I like that about Gulf, that he's private and draws a line between fans but still feel loved. Yes, Arissa. I think it's very good. Doesn't live like an open book. Sorry it's hard for you to read him. Well, hard sometimes. I think I get the main idea most of the time. He will keep to himself because he's an introvert. Yes. Best is on his own in China. Is he there scouting for work? I don't know. Do you want me to ask the cards what Best is doing in China? I can do that. Can you ask if Gulf is doing a BL? There's rumors going around about it. Yeah, I know. I spoke about it in the last live. Of course, his cards are all work. May card seems more interesting. Yes. What a lot of work you've put into this. Right? No. Well, it's not that bad, really. I mean, the biggest part is putting all the information into writing. Yes. But seeing it at a glance when I do the actual reading, it's not that much. It's not that much effort, really. The reading is over within a few minutes. All right. Okay, so shall we ask those questions then? We'll start with asking those questions and then we'll move on to MewGulf then, in that case. Just let me put these cards over here. And of course I'll have to put you down here so you can see the cards. Now with the new delivery, I'm guessing I've also got a card holder coming, so I'll have something here that I can put the cards in so you'll be able to see them as well. Just FYI. Okay. And I gave all these cards a really good shuffle as well, so you know. These have all had a really good shuffle, a dovetail shuffle, and yeah, a really good shuffle off screen, just so you know that. Alright, so we'll do the question about Best first, P-Best first. Why is P-Best in China? Why is Gulf's manager P-Best in China? Or why was he? He may not be there anymore. Why was P-Best? Why or hang on. Why was or is P-Best in China? That's better. Why was or is P-Best in China? Whoa. Oh dear. Got two cards here. Okay. You saw those. They fell out, right? Let's see. I've never read for somebody else except for MewGulf and Tor before, so this is, I'm like, oh, should I? Okay. The two cards we got. So the first one is... what is it? That way, wouldn't it be? Yeah, nine of swords in reverse. Nine of swords in reverse. Inner turmoil, deep-seated fears, secrets, releasing worry, hope, reaching out. And the second card is the Six of Wands, public recognition, victory, progress, self-confidence. Honestly, guys, I can almost see this guy as P-Best right there. He's quite confident in himself, isn't he, P-Best? Let's face it, he's very... I love that about him. I love his self-confidence. Okay, let me read a bit more up on this Nine of Swords reversed, though. Nine of Swords reversed. When reversed, this card suggests the beginning of overcoming inner turmoil. It signals the process of confronting and releasing deep-seated fears, encouraging hope, and the importance of seeking support for healing. Interesting. Let me get the Six of Wands as well while we're here. Of course, P-Best is the same. We don't know much about him either, do we? So, kind of hard to read for him too. Six of Wands upright. The Six of Wands signifies a moment of triumph and public acclaim. It reflects victory and progress, marking a period where self-confidence leads to acknowledged success, celebrating achievements and leadership. Now, somebody said about scouting work, right? Here's what I'm getting. I think this Nine of Swords is definitely a past card. Possibly how he may have felt in the past. Maybe about doing other work, other than what he's doing. And then this card is possibly about him starting to explore, starting to look at his options and gaining public recognition for it, or being successful for it, victory, making progress, and also having the self-confidence to do it in the first place. Does that make sense? Of course, I will get some clarifying cards, because that's not enough. In fact, maybe I should pull another tarot. Let's just pull another tarot for this. So was the... oh dear. No, listen, I didn't even ask a question. I'm not gonna... I'll put it there, but I'm not really gonna take that one seriously. Because I hadn't even completely decided what I was gonna ask, so yeah, I don't think it counts. What was I gonna ask? Is this Nine of Wands something in the past? Is this Nine of Wands something in the past? Has he already conquered this Nine of Wands card as this, Nine of Swords card, as the Six of Wands suggests? Has P-Best already conquered the Nine of Swords card as the Six of Wands suggests? Whoa, they went flying. Okay, hang on. What have we got here? There's two cards. Wow. Yes, they're very good. Okay. So, one, we got the Wheel of Fortune. Upright, which is good luck, karma, life cycles, destiny, turning point, change, inevitable fate, ups and downs, unpredictable. The other is Strength, upright, which is courage, passion, subtle power, persuasion, influence, inner strength, focus, and compassion. So it does sound like P-Best could be in China, not just for a vacation, but for something important, a turning point in his life, as this card suggests. And it's something he needs courage and self-confidence for, which he has. And it sounds like good luck is on his side. So whatever it is he's doing right now, it looks like he'll be successful with it. I don't want to go too deep into like guessing what it all is, but we do know that there are changes coming regarding Gulf, for example. There are changes, whether they're coming fast, soon, or coming further into the future. They're coming. There are changes coming. So this could be P-Best preparing for those changes, let's say. Okay, I'll leave those cards there. Yeah, this card really doesn't fit, guys, unless this other card that fell out before, unless this is like this is what he has to watch out for, perhaps. Anyway, the card I got was just, you know, so I'm transparent with you guys. This card was the King of Cups in reverse, which is cold, bad advice, emotional manipulation, moodiness, self-compassion, and inner feelings. So it could be, while he's doing this, he may have to look out for somebody who may give him bad advice along the way, or may try to emotionally manipulate him, or while he's doing all this, he may have to watch his temper, he may have to watch his mood, or he may have to focus on his inner feelings. This says inner feelings as well. He may have to really focus on his inner feelings about the matter as well. So there's a few things there. Alright. And clarify cards, right? So let's get these Lenormand clarify cards over here. So we've got, since I did that card as well, for the sake of transparency, we have 5 cards in total. So we will pull a card for each of them. So what's this 9 of Swords in reverse about, please? What's this 9 of Swords in reverse about, please? Tell me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Whoops. Almost did 8. More than 8. Okay, 8. Okay, so we got key for that one. Interesting. I shouldn't flip them until we're ready. I shouldn't flip until we have all of them. I thought P-Best was on his own vacation. Well, I mean, it probably is a vacation, but he could be doing things, you know, like how Mew and Gulf do, well, more Mew. When they're on vacation, they can also be taking care of other business and other matters at the same time. Or maybe it is all just about going on vacation. Maybe it's about P-Best leaving Gulf alone for a little while, you know. Maybe fear of leaving Gulf alone in somebody else's hands or nobody else's hands while he goes on holiday. Maybe it's something like that even. Because it's not really a holiday. Well, Songkran is kind of holiday, isn't it? But I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it's something like that. One, 2, wait. Okay, I got 2 from that. That one. Flip them over in a minute. We need 2 more cards, please, little deck. 2 more cards. Just gonna start counting. 1, 2, whoop. And 1 more. I'll take that one. Okay, so what have we got here? Okay, so for the 9 of Swords, the
Peppa Pig. I want Peppa Pig.
No.
Peppa Pig.
No. Go on.
Peppa Pig.
No.
Peppa Pig.
You should be in bed right now. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah, you should. You should be in bed right now. So you should be grateful for what you're getting. I can turn it off, you know.
No.
Okay. 9 of Swords reversed. Fear, secrets, releasing worry, hope, reaching out. He got the key for that one. So obviously whatever this card represents is the key. So looking back, I think maybe reaching out, hope reaching out could be what's that card was meant to say. And the Six of Wands, public recognition, victory, progress, self-confidence. For that one we got child. So maybe even though he seems to be quite self-confident in some ways, maybe he's also quite, what do you call it, innocent and inexperienced about what he's about to do. Wheel of Fortune, we got Clover. Now, how's that, guys? How's, Wheel of Fortune is all about the good luck in life, and we got Clover. Now, while Clover isn't huge luck, it's small luck. Clover is small luck, and it also can be unpredictable. But actually, that really fits with the Wheel of Fortune. I think that's almost like a perfect match for that card. Amazing. And for strength, for what we got courage, inner strength, persuasion, focus, compassion. For that one we got crossroads. So obviously he needs courage to make a decision about something. And then this other card that we pulled out that I wasn't sure was meant to come out or not, the one about cold, bad advice, etc. We got the bed card for that one. That could mean it could mean a few things. I think you could use your own imagination for the possibilities of that one. I'll go for the more, what do you call it? I won't go into the sensitive side of it. I'll say it could be, he could get bad advice about being comfortable, because this card often represents your comfort zone. So he could be told to take it easy, relax, when really he shouldn't be relaxing so much, something like that. Or, the other possibility of somebody emotional manipulation, this card says. That could be something as well if he happens to meet someone who may want to take advantage of his good heart, etc. Alright, I think that's a roundabout good enough answer for the question, don't you? So the question was, what was P-Best doing in China, or is doing in China? I definitely didn't get the work card, so it's not for work. And I didn't get a relaxing card either, so it's not purely for work, it's not purely for holiday or relaxation. It seems to be something personal. It really is something personal there. Even if it's only personal for, as I said, the matter of feeling he can go on holiday at this time. Okay. Good. I think that was okay. Now the other question, what was the other question? I've forgotten. Oh, the BL, wasn't it? I don't know if I should ask that question, guys, because it's a secret. Whatever Gulf is working on next, it is a secret. And the last live I did that involved him and Smith, did seem to hint towards it being possible as well as it not being possible. So really I didn't get a clear answer. So there's little chance I'll get a clear answer this time either. I'm just not sure about it, guys. I don't know if I should ask. How about if I don't ask directly if it will be a BL, but more well, no, we already know, because he said, didn't he, he's returning to a role, so that wouldn't work either. There's really no safe way to ask this question. Alright, look, I'm brave today. I'm feeling brave today. I'll do it. Okay, let's do it. Come on, cards. Let's see what you have to say. Let's see if I can even interpret you right, actually. Alright. Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Okay, will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Will Gulf Kanawut return to the BL world? Will Gulf be starring in a BL again? Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Losing my breath here, guys. Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Is this a dangerous question? Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Feeling winded. Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? I'll start counting. 1, 2, wait, 3, 4. You know what, guys? No, stop there. I have this feeling like just because I have this other deck for Gulf, maybe I should be asking with this deck. Just suddenly like I shouldn't be using these cards for this question. So let's go with this deck, which also has been shuffled very well, dovetailed and all. So let's go. Will Gulf Kanawut... Whoa. Okay, listen, I saw that card, so I'm going to keep it there, just in case. Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Will Gulf Kanawut be starring in a BL again? Whoop. Hang on, are these all... Okay, that's... Guys, I had it upside down. It's alright, though. Alright, I got 3 cards here. I think that's enough. So we got the Emperor, King of Wands, and the Hierophant. The Emperor. The Emperor stands for authority, stability, and structure. It represents leadership, embodying power, discipline, and control. This card signifies a protective father figure, focusing on rules, practicality, and respect. Okay, while we're at it, because I've got it there, the Hierophant. The Hierophant represents established institutions and traditions. It symbolizes the importance of societal norms, conformity, and religious beliefs. This card signifies social approval, trust, wisdom, forgiveness, and the bond within communities. Okay, interesting. And King of Wands. King of Wands. The King of Wands embodies leadership and vision, a natural leader and entrepreneur. He focuses on the big picture, skillfully overcoming challenges with maturity. His presence signifies a period of career advancement and the realization of goals. None of those cards really, like, straight away give me the idea, or the answer. Let me just, maybe if I find the key words. Or, no, I read out the meanings. They're what the meanings are. Remember, this is just about Gulf possibly being in a BL. It's not about who he's in it with or when he's going to be in it. It's just about if he will. Societal norms and everything. I wonder if they mean like the new societal norms, or if it means absolutely not because of the old societal norms. Not sure. I definitely need some clarification cards for that one. Let's give it a shot. Never know if you don't try, right, guys? Alright. Excuse me. We'll pull a card for each. So, what's this Emperor about, please, little deck? What's this Emperor about? For Gulf possibly being in a BL again. What's this Emperor about? What is this Emperor about? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And what about this King of Wands, little deck? What's this King of Wands about? Whoa. That flipped over. I'll grab that. And the Hierophant? What's the Hierophant about? What's the Hierophant about, please, little deck? Oh. What are they doing that way? I don't know about that. 3 cards are up the right way. I'll take them. I'll take it as a sign that the Hierophant was meant to have 3 cards. Okay. So for the Emperor we got the Ring, which contract, commitment. For the King of Wands we got the Whip, which can be conflict, arguments, or it can also just mean like repetitive patterns. And for the Hierophant we got Book, Dog and Fox. Let me go back. The Emperor. Power, discipline, control, protective father figure, focusing on rules, practicality, and respect. You know, kind of makes me think of Mew. Not that, you know, not that it's definite, but, well, okay, let's not say Mew. Let's say even Gulf's dad. Gulf's dad himself, maybe. Maybe he's got something with Gulf. Like he wasn't against Gulf being being with boys back in the day. We know that. He was actually quite proud to say that Gulf was loved by both male and female. But, you know, maybe after what happened with Mew, he's hesitant to let Gulf go back to that. Maybe. Go back to that as in go back to being in a BL couple again for a show, I mean. Maybe. Or maybe, you know, this ring could represent, if we go back to Mew, could represent that, you know, Gulf used to say he wouldn't go with anyone else. He didn't feel like it was right to go with anyone else. He would always only be with Mew. Now, while Mew has already multiple times gone with someone else, including, you know, the current situation, Gulf hasn't. Gulf really hasn't. So he almost did in a few scenes in You Are My Makeup Artist, if I remember. There was a boy or a young man in the story who possibly liked Gat, but he didn't go that way. His character didn't go that way in the story. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's about that. Then what was it? King of Wands. King of Wands, leadership, entrepreneur, focus on the big picture, skillfully overcoming challenges with maturity. His period signifies a period of career advancement and the realization of goals. Again, I would say, like, because the whip can be not just conflict but also repetitive patterns, I would say possibly Gulf thinks he doesn't need to go there again, for example. He doesn't need to go into a BL. Right now his career is taking off with other things, in other genres, in other areas such as modelling. So possibly he thinks like repetitive patterns in this case may not be a good idea, for example. And also, like, if we link the ring with the whip, because the cards are together, then if, like I said, something about staying faithful to Mew, even in just the sense that he would not go with another partner for BL over and over, you know, repetitive patterns. Or it could be conflict as well, like he could be having fights with other people about not going with someone else, or he could be having a fight with Mew, or he could be having a fight with people about wanting to. It could be either way, but I really don't get the vibe I'm getting is no. It doesn't seem like he will, and it doesn't seem like he really has an interest in going into that territory again. At least not like is rumoured. Not with somebody else. Not in the near future, etc. Hierophant. We got Book, Dog, Fox. Now, Hierophant. Established institutions and traditions, the importance of societal norms, conformity, religious beliefs. This card signifies social approval, trust, wisdom, forgiveness, and the bond within communities. This could be, again, like I said, about the societal norms. I'm not sure if it's the new societal norms, which, you know, especially in his country would mean that it's okay, or the old societal norms, which is kind of against the whole thing. So, with these cards, Book, Dog, Fox, to me that's like dog loyalty. Loyal to his work. He's remaining loyal to his work. and with the book, you know, he's already. This could be representing like a closed book, closed chapter. So it could be that Gulf feels he's already done his dash in the BL world, and now that he's done that, he will remain loyal to what he's already done, and also to what he's doing currently in work. It could be something like that. Or if he is going to do a BL, if this all is leading to, yes, he will do a BL, it could be that it's a secret, obviously. It's a secret job. Hasn't been announced or anything. People are only telling rumours, secrets. But when he does do it, he will make sure that the friend aspect or the phenong aspect is very strong, and he will treat it as work. It could also mean something like that. Okay? Are you guys happy with that for now? As an answer? Remember, I'm still learning. Every time I do one of these live readings, I'm getting practice of reading on the spot. Because when I don't do it on live, when I do it away from the live, I will be like studying all the answers really hard and coming up with the best interpretation I can. So it's a little bit different when you're live speaking like this. I just give you what I get straight away from the cards, basically, apart from reading these little books. Okay. Now, what about MewGulf? Does everybody want an update on MewGulf? Shall we do an update on MewGulf? Or is that enough? It's been interesting. First doing the Astro Clock and then asking two very interesting questions. It's very, very interesting. Full of information, right? Kind of makes me feel like I really have done enough today. But you know, I'm always curious. I'm always curious about MewGulf. So let's do it. Let's do it anyway. We'll use oh, I already put them away. We'll use this for Mew and this for Gulf. Let's see what we get today. So, how is Mew feeling about Gulf today? How is Mew Suppasit feeling towards Gulf Kanawut today? If at all. How is Mew Suppasit feeling towards Gulf Kanawut today? How is Mew Suppasit feeling towards Gulf Kanawut today? He's still in a good month this March, as I read out. Sorry, not March, April. With well, he has a really good month. Whether what happened in my prediction was about the becoming a BA for HM and going to LA for that event or not, he's going to have a good month. So, how is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? And Gulf had a pretty good month too. He was doing well with his Japanese show, which we see he is. He's doing very well. So that prediction sort of came true as well. How is Mew feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? I'm going to start counting. 1, 2, whoop. Okay. 1, 2. How is Mew feeling about Gulf? 3, 4. Wait. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I'm showing you. I'll pull that card because I showed it to you. Alright. So 3 cards. We have Death. We have Page of Cups. We have 5 of Pentacles or coins reversed. So, first card, Death. Now, death isn't always a negative thing. It can be endings or new beginnings. It says endings and beginnings, so it can be either. Change, transformation, transition, metamorphosis, end of cycle. So this death card for Mew towards Gulf could easily be him thinking about a new beginning or a transition towards him coming up in the future, possibly, even. Or it could mean the opposite, you know. It could mean ending, cutting things off for good in the future, too. Oh, and the other thing I noticed with this card, Death, is it's a Scorpio card. Do you see that? It's a Scorpio card, so definitely it's about Gulf, yeah. Whether it's positive or negative. I think it's positive, but, you know, just for the sake of things, for me not sounding too biased as a Waanjai, I also include the negative. Page of Cups. Creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, new love. New love. Wow, that's really, yeah, that goes with what I said about, like, the new beginning, new potential, new transition towards new love. That definitely goes with that in harmony. And the last card we have is the 5 of Pentacles or coins in reverse, which is recovery from financial loss, spiritual poverty, charity, or improvement. Improvement pulls me with that one. It could be that he feels he wants to transition towards Gulf, start dreaming, you know, have a creative opportunity with Gulf, possibly as a result of intuitive messages he's been getting. He wants to try again with Gulf in some way, and he wants an improvement. He wants an improvement on what the situation is between them right now. Okay. Get some clarifiers just in case. So let's get a clarification of what this death card is about, please. It must be Gulf because it's a Scorpio card, but exactly what is ending or beginning, please? What is this death card about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoop! Too many. Where'd you go? 7. Hang on, I was up to 5, 6. 7, 8, okay. 3. Alright, what about this Page of Cups, little deck? What's this Page of Cups about? 1, whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Work. And what about this 5 of Pentacles or coins in reverse, please? What is this about? Is it improvement like I thought? Or is it something else? What is this 5 of coins in reverse about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So for death we got tree. Endings, beginnings, change, transformation, transition, metamorphosis, end of cycle. Tree. I think tree definitely makes me think of grow as we go. Definitely makes me think of grow as we go, which can be transformation. Doesn't make me think of end of cycle. It could be beginnings though. It could be like planting a tree as well. But more so I get the idea of grow as we go. So transition, continuing to grow. Page of Cups for that one, which was creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer sensitivity, and new love. For that one we got market, which is work. So obviously this is in the idea of work. Mew is thinking in the idea of work, what creative opportunities they could have working together again. And maybe not so much the new love side of things. Okay, interesting. And of course that doesn't mean, completely out of the question. It just means that's what he's thinking about. That's what that card is about. 5 of Pentacles and coins in reverse, we got the moon. So for that one, which we said could be improvement, but on this card there's also recovery from financial loss, spiritual poverty, and charity. Spiritual poverty seems to stand out to me now after getting the moon card, because it could mean that he's not in touch with his spiritual self right now, and he needs to get more in touch with himself, with his inner feelings. In other words, he needs to stop neglecting his inner feelings about the matter before he can, advance back towards Gulf in any form, whether it be for work or otherwise. Maybe if he is going to work with Gulf again, he would have to have a whole new mindset about it, because what he used to do with Gulf would just not fly these days with his new partner, or something like that even. But he knows that if he did work with Gulf again, that it would be good. It would turn out very good for all. Okay, now let's go these cards for Gulf. I'll leave the cards there for now. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling towards Mew Suppasit today? Oh, how many is that? 2 cards. Is that in reverse again? It's alright guys, I've got the whole deck in reverse. That's the second time I've done that. Okay. Right. Should I get one more card since I got 3 from you? Let's get one more card. How is Gulf feeling about Mew today? Apart from these cards. Little deck. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? Whoa! Okay. There's that one that flipped over in the deck. Okay, interesting. So we have 10 of Swords, 5 of Wands, and the Hanged Man. So let's start with the 10 of Swords, because that's probably the most negative possible one. 10 of Swords. A moment of significant hardship marked by betrayal and loss. It represents the culmination of a cycle with a painful ending, suggesting a time of crisis where feelings of defeat and collapse are prevalent. This could be a pass card though, guys, because it is in that position. Okay, so 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands embodies the chaos of competition and conflict. This is starting to feel like a past, present, future, really now. So this could be past, and this could be present right now. Anyway, the 5 of Wands embodies the chaos of competition and conflict. It captures moments of rivalry and strife, reflecting tensions and disagreements that challenge cohesion, urging the need to navigate through discord. Okay. And then the Hanged Man. Where are you, Hanged Man? There it is. The Hanged Man signifies a period of pause and surrender, inviting a shift in perspective. It represents enlightenment and deep insight, encouraging viewing life differently. This card symbolizes the power of letting go, sacrifice, and embracing change. Okay. So, yeah, I would say in the past, Gulf may have been feeling really like 10 of Swords. Perhaps because we said today about this question, this could even be how he was feeling while Mew was off with Tool again on a trip, traveling the world. Maybe he had a moment of feeling defeated. 5 of Wands, conflict and rivalry. Sorry, not conflict, competition and rivalry. Definitely, if that's how he was feeling about them going on trip, then he'd probably be feeling that about Tool right now. About all the time Mew gets to spend with Tool. Yeah. And then the Hanged Man. Well, this could be current and future. He could still need to do a lot of thinking about. Let me go back to that for a second. He could still need to do a lot of thinking about, you know, accepting the change if that's what's happening, or how he can move forward and make progress towards improvement, which could be even just being back in Mew's life, for example. Where is it? Here. Inviting a shift in perspective, represents enlightenment and deep insight, encouraging viewing life differently. Yeah, so he could be really thinking about the possibility of if this really does happen with Mew, if Mew does marry Tool, like how is he going to deal with that? How is he going to move forward with that? How is he going to adapt with that? Or what moves is he going to make towards returning to Mew's life, if that is the case? Or if the other, if, you know, if Mew is going to be in touch with him and he knows that it's not working out the way people think it is, how's he going to move forward with that, considering his own career, where he is at life at the moment? How is he going to deal with that life change? Something like that. Okay, and clarification cards. Let me just take these. So it was Tree, Market, Moon. I'll just take those just in case he needs them as well. So what's this Ten of Swords about, please, little deck? What's this Ten of Swords about? If he was feeling this way in the past, what is this Ten of Swords about? This defeated feeling. What is he feeling defeated about? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Ship. What did I tell you guys? If you're feeling defeated about Mew and Till going on the trip recently. Didn't I just say that? Ship. Okay, so feeling defeated about it could even be the distance between him and Mew right now. It could be that. But since what I just said about the trip, ship. Look at that. Incredible. Okay, calm down. I always get this way when something happens like that. Okay. What's this Five of Wands about? What's this Five of Wands about? This competition, this rivalry. What's this competition and rivalry feeling about? Please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Garden. So community, social circle. It could be something like he's got competition because, well, Mew and Till have a lot of support right now in their inner circle, on the media, and from the shippers, of course. It could be something like that. So for him to even platonically come back into Mew's life, to be friends, this right now is stopping him from doing that. That's exactly the message I'm getting, and it agrees with all the past readings I've done as well. Like, it just, the hype of the couple right now is preventing any progress towards Mew and Gulf's reunion in public. Really, that's what it is. And what about this Hangman? What does Gulf really have to think about? What does Gulf have to try and have a different life perspective over, or get used to? What does he have to have sudden inspiration for? What's this? Oh boy, hang on. There's two here, two cards, and they are Mice and Rider. You know, straight away that makes me think he has to get used to not being able to be in contact or communicate with someone. It is a reading about him and Mew, but somehow I don't get the idea that it's about, you know, not being able to talk to Mew at all. Somehow I get more the idea, like what I mentioned for the, if he had to adapt to Mew and Till getting married, how he may have to change things with us, in regards to, like, after the wedding, we would have to all learn to adapt to the new situation to respect the new wedded couple. That's the kind of picture I get. Like, he would have to think about how he's going to possibly slowly change or adapt his way of dealing with old fans, Waanjai, possibly. So he could be thinking very deeply about that, or if it's more positive in our case, like if it's more him thinking about the positive side of him being with Mew, then this could even be about how he's going to deal with fans who don't approve of him being with Mew, like the ones from the start that were toxic solo stands, the ones who are shipping him with other people, how he would deal with them even, and how he may lose contact with a lot of people over what could happen in the future, something like that. Because the rider brings messages, but unlike the letter, which is written messages, the rider is more like fast, something coming quickly, and bringing a message. So for me, it seems more like it could be tweets online and things like that, and it could be because mice is like take away, theft, or reduce, eat away, things like that. it could even be something like a message that he has received, or some messages that he has received could be gnawing away at him in his mind, and that's why he has to think a lot. It could be something like that even. These cards have a lot of possibilities, you know, the way you read them. There's no wrong way to read them. They can speak to you in a lot of different ways. So all I'm doing is telling you what's coming to me straight up. But if I were to say go back and study them really hard, I could probably come up with a lot more. Anyway, all right. So overall, I think that's a pretty hopeful reading for MewGulf. Mew wants things to improve. He wants to transition towards a better situation, possibly working together again with that Page of Cups. And Gulf, he was feeling a bit defeated and, you know, focusing on the competition and rivalry at hand, but now he's thinking. He's really thinking about things again, and possibly gaining a new perspective on the situation. Okay. And of course I will do the other cards for MewGulf. I'll do the Love Oracle cards, because we always do. They're a nice note to end on, I think. And then that would be it for me today. I cannot go on any further after that, so let me just put these away. Alright, here we go. Divine Love. So Mew first, how is Mew feeling about Gulf today? If at all, how is Mew feeling about Gulf today? How is Mew feeling about Gulf today? How is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? How is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? How is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? Oh yeah, too many. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about how is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? Gosh. How is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut today? I'll start counting. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Really? Is that so? Okay. I'm gonna pull at least one more card though. Hang on, I'll get you some milk. 1, 2. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my. Alright guys, just let me just get my daughter some milk, and then, wow, these cards again, just unbelievable. Yes, I heard you, it's okay, I'm getting you milk, it's alright. Guys, oh my goodness. So after what we just talked about, after the Astro Clock talking about possible Mew may reach out to Gulf in next month, and then, you know, the year followed on after that. And then even after that reading we just did of, we got the Death card, which could have been the beginning or the transformation or transition towards Gulf, or even the fact that, you know, that thing came up about him wanting to work with him again. These cards, right, so the first one is, I am hopeful that we will reunite again. This is Mew about Gulf. If he's thinking anything, if he really is thinking this, I am hopeful that we will reunite again. And then the other card, I know one day we will find our way back to each other. Almost the same thing on two cards, right? And this is Mew to Gulf. Wow. If he really is feeling that way, I think, you know, we definitely have something to look forward to, us Waanjai, in the future. Whether it's them platonic or something else, you know, I always say this. But if they really are twin flames, wow. Yeah, okay. Amazing. Alright. I probably should do the other one first. So let's get some clarifiers. Just, you know, this is very sweet and all, but let's see if we can get some clarification in more words about this. So you're hopeful that you're going to reunite and find your way back to each other, Mew. So what else? What else about this are you feeling right now? Oh my goodness, was that too fast? 3 cards! It's 3 cards! You know what? Okay. You're the boss deck. Okay, let's do it. So what have we got? Finding myself. We had this the other day. Wild side. Interesting. And obsessed. Okay. Alright, so beginning with finding myself. It was time I went within... Whoops. Did you guys see that? Alright, I'll just put that there as well because you probably saw that. It was time I went within to find myself again. I need to figure out what I want out of life. I need space. So we had this in the last reading as well. For Mew, it was Mew. Mew had this card in the last live as well. Possibly he even had it before that as well. Okay, wild side. There's a side to you I haven't seen and want to. I want to see you let loose and get wild. Let's have some fun. Interesting. So, well, I mean, if this is me talking to Gulf's wild side, maybe they never went that far, and he wants to. Maybe. And obsessed. I think I'm obsessed with you. I think about you all the time, stalk your socials, and hope I run into you when I'm out. Okay. Well, they all really do connect with the 2 cards I pulled out, don't they? So he's finding himself, needs space, so that's first. And then the wild side and obsessed, can't get him off his mind, dreams about him, stalks his socials, hopes to run into him, and wants to have some fun with him. Possibly not get wild with him, that could just be, you know, what the card says, but definitely he wants to have some fun with him again, I would say. And then this card that was on the bottom of the deck that you guys may have seen, I'm sorry. I hate how much I've hurt you. I'm so sorry for all the pain I've caused. You didn't deserve any of it. So that also kind of fits if you consider that Gulf has been hurt through this whole thing going on whether it was intentional or not, you know, I think it's you can't deny it. Gulf has had to face some hard times because of what's going on, even if it's just, you know, facing the public, or having to talk about it with the media on the rare occasion, or having to stay. Could even be his suffering because he has to stay silent, or he's had to stay silent about what's going on up to this point because it was all a secret, that he couldn't, you know, it wasn't his place to say anything, even about, you know, us Waanjai and MewGulf themselves, possibly, you know, it could be something like that. Okay, right, now let's do Gulf. Put it inside the middle of the deck there so it's hidden. Okay. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today, if at all? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? Wait. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? Wait. They really want to flip today. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today, if at all? 1, 2, 3. How is Gulf feeling about Mew? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I'll just put 2 since we got 2. I've been working on my self-love and self-worth. You are my light in the darkest times. Interesting. Interesting. Did you go? I'm getting in a habit of that, aren't I? For some reason, I didn't see it. Did you? I didn't see it, so for me it's like, because I didn't see it, I probably should leave it. We didn't have 3 cards for Mew, so yeah, I think we'll leave it. Okie dokie. So, yeah, I've been working on my self-love and self-worth. You are my light in the darkest times. This one makes me think of like the sad vibes some of Gulf's IG stories have had sometimes. Like Waiting. You know, that one, the airplane one he had about waiting. A dog waiting. But also there's been like the other one where it isn't over till it's over. That was another backtrack they've had recently. Or you know the track we just started talking about, I think it was today, that between Mew using it first for his post and then Grace happened to use it for her IG post, IG story, sorry, about the Songkran, the family post, Rice Wine Summer Spent. The words of that song, I mean, it's got a lovely tune, yes, it sounds really nice, but the words are kind of negative, so yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Alright, so let's get some clarification for these then. I've been working on my self-love and self-worth. You are my light in the darkest times. So what are these darkest times you're going through right now, Gulf? Are you really feeling a little bit down right now, or is this in the past? What's going on here? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? With these cards, please. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? Don't seem to be as in sync, but I could, be jumping the gun. Something could happen in here. So, how is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? If at all. Alright, let's start counting. 1. Wait. Well, oh, hang on. That's 2 of them. Alright, better take those. Can we have one more, please? Because we had 3. Actually, we had 4, didn't we? Can we have at least one more, if not 2 more cards, please? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit today? Wait. One more? Can we have one more, please? Just feels right to get one more. Be even with what we had with Mew. One more. One more, please. One more. Okay, I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we have still listening. I listen to the music you've shared with me. It helps me to connect with you, although we are apart. My God, guys, we were just talking about them using the same music tracks. I only saw still listening, so I didn't even realize. I thought still listening was something like, still interested, but no. Oh, listening to the music you've shared, connect with you although we are apart. That really... Okay. Yes, you guys, you share the same music tracks. You have... Music connects you. Yes, music connects you. Okay. Let the past go. Can we rewind time and go back to before we were both broken down by life? Our past hold us back from our future. We've had this one a few times too, this card. I think last time it was Mew who had this card. But again, I think it really, it's not about letting go and forgetting. It's more about letting go and changing the current, which is the result of the past, to be better in the future, I think. Because even just the word our future kind of makes me think, it's not past holds us back from my future, or your future, it's our future. So it does still sound like, they have a future together, a possible future together. It does make me think that. So yeah, let the past go. It could be about starting afresh, starting again, like the new beginning, the death card that Mew had. Feeling lost. I'm trying to make this work, but I feel so lost. I don't know what to do or say anymore, and it's easier to just stay in silence. Gulf had this card as well. I remember it. I remember Gulf had this card in a past reading, and exactly, it's easier to stay silent, because what can he say? Right now with the situation, what can he possibly say? Again, we go back to the reading we just had with... we got the guard and for competition and rivalry. The tarot card we got for competition and rivalry, and then the Garden, that it was about social circles, media, the public, community. So, yeah, what can he do? He kind of really has to just stay silent, right? He could be feeling lost because he has to stay silent. He really can't do anything right now. Mew is the one who has to break the silence, I believe. It may be Gulf who can make the bigger move, as we've said in the past, but I think Mew now, because of the situation, Mew is the one who has to break the silence between them publicly. Publicly. They could be talking in private, but publicly he needs to break that silence. Because the last thing we had was Gulf said congratulations, right? Mew said nothing. So Mew is the one. It's the ball's in his court. He needs to break the silence in the public eye. And the last card I got was Attention of Others. Now, we had this card a number of times on Mew's side. Somehow this doesn't sound like Gulf to me. This could be he's thinking this about Mew, actually. Because we've had it that many times with Mew, it just feels like it's more a Mew card than Gulf. But anyway, Attention of Others. I'm addicted to the attention of others. I love feeling wanted and needed. I don't feel whole without it. I don't think that is Gulf at all. I really don't. So the only thing I can think of that the reason this card has come up is possibly, you know, if they are twin flames, they have mutual feelings. They can feel what the other feels. Possibly this is what he thinks about Mew, because Mew has been saying this a lot through the cards recently, so possibly he's thinking about Mew in that way. He's thinking that Mew is still addicted. Mew is still feeling wanted and needed. He's loving it, and he still has a lot of inner work to do to move away from that possible mindset, maybe. Or it could be Gulf. It could be Gulf, because it did come out for him, but I really excuse me, I really don't get the idea that that card is talking about Gulf. Oh, excuse me, hang on a second. Something in my throat there. Okay, so yeah, that's it anyway. That is our reading about Mew and Gulf. So Mew was sounding very like he's about to reach out. He's about to do something. Interestingly, like I said, next month possibly he does. But Gulf sounds like he's still a little bit reserved, still a little bit like protecting himself, still a little bit not ready, like we had in the last live, and possibly even just like he's more prepared to remain indifferent, to appear indifferent. He's more prepared to continue just admiring from a distance, sort of thing, because he doesn't know what Mew is feeling, maybe. Alright, so that is it, guys. I'll leave it at that. Well, it's been interesting. I mean, even just those few cards where things come up, like, so interesting. Like, we were just talking about music and that card comes up, listening, connecting through music. Some of these things, they're just amazing. You know, when I start even just thinking in my head for a second that maybe all this is hocus pocus, or you know, really can't be trusted, and then something like that happens, I'm like, wow, there must be something to this. I mean, it's ridiculous to get this many flukes in a row, or it's ridiculous for someone like me to be that lucky to get this many things in my favor. yeah, it's not possible, guys. Not possible. So for these things to happen, it keeps strengthening my faith in what's happening even more. While I really do believe Mew and Gulf are twin flames and will get together in that way one day, and I say one day because it may not be soon. I do also hold like that small possibility that they may only come back as friends or even just co-workers. But I do believe they will come back in some form. So definitely us Waanjai, we need to stay strong. We need to stick together and stick it out until the end. Which there may not be an end. Right? Okay, so that's it, guys. I'll say goodnight. I'm still impressed. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, Cynthia? Yeah. Alright, so thanks for joining me, everybody. Not sure when I'll come on next. Not sure what we'll discuss next. The next readings I have in line would be the grand tableaus, and I'm not sure you guys are ready for a grand tableau yet. Also, the thing is, I did the grand tableaus like a long time ago now. It feels like it doesn't even feel like it still relates, you know. It's possible that maybe it's run out. Maybe I should just do a new grand tableau, a new spread. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe I should be brave enough and do my first grand tableau live for you guys, like go through the cards with you guys, instead of make a big essay thing out of it like I've done so far, like, because it takes such a long time to get all the meanings down in writing, etc. So yeah, maybe I should be more brave and try the on live thing, because I do feel it. Every reading I do with you guys, I feel like I'm gaining more experience, I'm gaining more insight, I'm getting more practice, and I'm learning more. So thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll see you next time. Oh, good night, Belinda. Good night. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.